love and everything.
We're going to do one more wrap and then come in. Hey guys, welcome back. We are here. Hey guys, welcome back. We are here with the Voice of the Caribbean, and I just want to say to you how grateful I am that you guys have been sticking around. I've been having a crazy schedule, but because of the love and what it is that we're doing and the love that I'm getting and the response that I'm getting for you guys for what we're doing with this show, we just have to keep pushing and going. How has your week been? Okay, so we're going to be talking about a topic that is very close to my heart, and it ties beautifully into mental health. We have a very special guest with us this evening, and we're going to be talking about why it is that her cause is so important, not just to her, but me and many of you listening out there. Remember, you can call in if you have your questions at 850-446-0562. Again, this is the Voice of the Caribbean with yours truly here with the Real Talk Weekly Podcast, Dijonese. Thank you for joining us, and stick around, download our app and join in the conversation. All right, so Dana, we go by Princess Dana.
Yes.
I just want to welcome you to the table.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you so much for, advocating for what you advocate. So tell us a little about who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Wonderful. So my name is Dana, and I am currently a nurse. I do hospice as of right now, but my main mission in life is to bring awareness to mental health. So currently I am in a contest. It's called Entrepreneur of Impact, and my mission within the contest is suicide prevention, because I was a survivor of suicide. So it's basically my
Can we
story.
just pause with
Yes.
you saying that there is so much liberation and power that you're sitting right here, and I want you to say that again for yourself and for those listening.
You about to make me cry.
No, just say it again, Dana. Come on.
I am a survivor of suicide.
You are a survivor, and I want to add that and say you are a thriver. Wow. Let's hear more.
So, when it was a little bit after COVID, and I remember I was praying one night and I was talking to God. I said, look, things are going on. I'm annoyed. I'm pissed off. And I don't know what to do. And I don't know how I could be of help to people. But this is what I'm feeling, right? And I remember I sat in silence. A lot of times we pray and we don't listen. We just get up and walk. But something told me to just sit there. So I was just sitting there. I was still on my knees. And then I heard him say, write the suicide prevention book. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing it.
Why? You didn't want to do it?
I didn't want to do it because it was so embarrassing and nobody knew that I was struggling with it. So I fought it for it was 6 or 7 months. I was fighting it until I saw Christy. You ever heard of her? Her story, the beautiful girl that jumped off the building.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I heard of her story before, but when I watched her story on Red Table Talk, and her mom and her parents, her mom and her dad was there, and they were telling her story, I remember I cried so bad, and I was like, okay, God, I surrender. So I did the journal. I turned it into a journal because if anybody's like me, I hate books, right? I love to read, but it needs to be something that's simple. So I said, all right, if I'm going to do this, make it into a journal, 21 days, but my story in between each day of what I did to help me through. And I was like, I'm just going to put it out there. And I made a little Instagram. It's called Don't Do It Book. And I put the book out there. And I never forget, I was at work and I made the book go live on Amazon. And then this girl, she contacted me in my DMs and she said, you don't even know, I was sitting in my car with a bullet in my gun, and I was about to blow my head off. But then she said, I got your, because I made an emergency ebook, so you can download it. You don't have to wait for the book to come through Amazon.
Okay.
And she said, I downloaded it and I read it, and you're the reason why I didn't pull the trigger.
Wow, thank God.
And I was like, oh. And I remember I was just crying all day at work, and everybody was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, nothing. Nothing.
Wow. So even then, you still did not want to own up to the fact that your life, your story was impacting somebody in such a way that made a difference for you. Wow. Well, I'm so glad you're here and you're opening up about this, because I know it's a very tough topic.
Yes.
But this is a place of no judgment, right? We listen, we try to work things out, and which is the reason why I wanted to invite you here this evening, because you have a very powerful story. I don't know, guys, for those who are listening right now, I mean, suicide ideation, and some people go as far as not to come back. But you're here, right? So tell us a little bit about the drive that you're doing. I know the position that you're in right now. You could be in a better position, but you know what? Any way you take it, you're a winner, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little about what you're doing with that and how we can support you.
Of course. So the competition is currently called Entrepreneur of Impact. With the competition, the rules are just that you have to get people to vote for you and your mission, your cause, whatever you stand for. So, of course, I chose the suicide prevention with my book on Amazon. And also, I do have a clothing line, but the purpose of the clothing line is to send out like comfort boxes to women that while they're struggling with their mental health, I just send you clothes so that you can get dressed.
Wow.
So
Look
it's like,
pretty.
thank you.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's $50 a box, and I send you 3 pairs of one-piece outfits and a pair of shoes.
Okay.
And then, people have been using that to get dressed as well. So the purpose is suicide prevention. So I would send a woman a book and a comfort box, and then just to get things started. However, the competition is 7 rounds. I won 4 rounds so far.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
a feat.
Yes. But in order to completely win the competition, I would have to win all 7 rounds.
Okay.
So we're in the 5th round. It's called the quarterfinalist round, and I have to be in first place by 10 p.m. tonight.
What? Okay, guys. Okay, pause. With such an amazing story that Dana has, and the work that she's doing, and the things that you know needs to be done in this space regarding mental health, and in particular suicide, right? We cannot afford to not support Dana. If you're listening out there, let me see how much of you are listening on your way home. Okay, we have just about 60,000, maybe 80-something thousand people, plus whoever else is listening, wherever else. I want you right now to tell them where they need to go to vote and get those numbers up. We can do better than that. We need at minimum tonight, guys. Come on. At least tell them the numbers you want.
So I would say I need at least 1,000 votes. However, if you have a Facebook, it is a free vote. If you don't have a Facebook, you can do a donation. Donations are completely up to you, your desire. The donations do not go to me. They go to charity of children for the less fortunate. And the amount of donation that you put in is exactly the amount of votes that I would get. So if you put $10, I would get 10 votes, and the money goes straight to charity for the kids. Okay,
and so you need at minimum 1,000 votes.
1,000.
Okay, people out there, if you ever had suicide ideation, if you know somebody that in your family has struggled with their mental health, if you know somebody that gave in and caved into that place because of hopelessness, I want you to reach deep down into your heart and your pocket and call us if you don't know whatever else to do. If it's even just a call and say, something that I'm going through, I can relate to this, is encouraging. But won't you just go again, repeat it? They know, where do they need to do?
So you're going to go to the Entrepreneur of Impact website, or you can actually go to my actual Facebook, and I will directly send you the link. You can go to DANA space LU, put in search. You're going to see Think Mental Fashion, and I will actually send you the link. Or if you want to go to the actual link itself, go to entrepreneurofImpact.org/Dana, DANA, QUAMINA, and then you'll find me there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So in the meantime, let's unpack while we're doing that. So you're saying that, you struggled with this thing. What made you stop? Why didn't you go through with it?
Ooh, that's the best part. And I didn't even realize I was healed until it actually happened. So there was a business trip in LA, March 11th of 2023. 2023, because my mom died April. Yeah, 2023. So I had to get on the plane, of course. I'm always afraid to fly. Anytime I would fly, I would call my mom and be like, Mommy, please pray over me. And she would be like, you're fine. And I'd be like, no, please pray over me. So she would pray over me. So I remember she prayed over me that day. And typically in my mind, if any time any type of turbulence would happen on the plane, Suicidal Dana would be like, yes, this is the opportunity to die, straight shot. I don't have to think about anything. It won't be by my own hands, and it's the easy ticket to heaven. This is how my mind was working at the time. So I remember there was a really, really bad turbulence, and there was a person going to the bathroom. The plane had dropped, and she kind of like hit her head, right? And I remember in that moment, I got terrified, and I said, where did this come from? Normally, I'd be excited because I'd be like, oh, this is an easy ticket out.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I'm sure you were thinking that.
But I was terrified, and I said, wow, I'm actually scared to die. I was never afraid to die before. I was looking for all opportunity to die. But this time, I was like, wow, I'm actually afraid to die. And I was like, what is that? And that's when I realized that I actually wanted to live.
You wanted to live. And we hear this all the time, right? People say that, or especially say that people really don't want to die, but they want their problems to end.
Right.
What was the problem, if you don't mind talking about it,
Oh,
that you wanted to end?
I had so much pain from my divorce. I was bullied in school. I would always run into situations where people were talking about me, and I would literally just be minding my business. I was struggling with my own health internally that nobody was aware of. And I just didn't know what to do. I just wanted all the pain to stop. So typically, like, when people like me get that way, we just want an easy way out. Like, but I know my desire, my fascination was always to cut my wrist or to drive off a cliff. Those are my two, like, ideations. Like, I used to, like, fantasize about it all the time. So, like...
You never thought about going out with a plane?
No.
And so the plane became that thing.
Right.
That God used.
Right.
Look at that.
Yeah. I was shocked.
Yeah, I'm shocked too. And I'm grateful at the same time. That is such a very mind-blowing experience, I'm sure. But you're telling me now that you realize you didn't want to die. How did you decide that you want to live?
I think for me, talking to my mom a lot, she brought like this awareness to me. She was like, you've always been in school. You got all these degrees, more than a thermometer.
Right.
But you've never lived. Like, you don't travel. You don't take days off. If you left it up to me, I'll be work, and just not really focus on myself. So, like, she brought it to my attention, and she was like, I think you should start by just going on trips. So I remember, like, before she passed away, she had, we didn't know she was going to pass away, by the way. It was like random. So before she passed away, she said, hey, I booked a flight for you and your boyfriend. Just get on the plane. I said, Mama, that's not how this works. This works by, I need to let my job know. And she's like, I need you to live. Get on a plane. Tell your boyfriend the same thing. It's already booked. All you guys have to do is just show up. Right? So did exactly that. And it was my first, like, real vacation without having to, like, worry about life and to just let go. And I think that was a turning point for me too, because I was always so confined with school and work and not realizing that there's so much out there that I could see and do.
So you made this trip, and this trip brought a turnaround in what? The way you saw the world, or the way you felt about life?
So I talk about it in my book. It was like an awakening in a way. Because I feel like when people like me are suicidal, it's like we're walking around asleep. So we're kind of not aware of anything else around us. We're more aware of our pain. So with that in mind, it's like you're literally walking around asleep because you're only focused on you. So when we went on the trip, I just remember, like, when we got off the plane, it felt like a new world. I've been to St. Lucia before. It's not like I've never been there before. But because after this realization that I wanted to live, it's like everything looked different. The sun looked different. I was standing outside more in the sun getting vitamin D. The grass, the feel of the grass on my feet. It was just like I was reborn. It's weird. It's a weird feeling, but I just remember like that's what I felt. Everything looked new. We had saw like monkeys and stuff like on the trees, and I was like, wow, that's a real monkey. Like it was like I was a little kid all over again, like looking and feeling and seeing everything for the first time.
Yeah.
That's how it felt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So why St. Lucia though? Because
that's where she booked it.
Wow. So there was just no connection. So this is your first trip to St. Lucia, but this is the place where you basically became reborn.
Right.
So in a way, St. Lucia has your heart. It's a special place for you.
That's where she's from. She's St. Lucia.
Oh, so your mom is St. Lucia.
Yeah.
So you're an islander.
Yes.
All right. You hear that, island people? And this is the voice of the Caribbean.
Yes.
One of the best places to sit down and to really unpack some of the things that we struggle with as a group and as a community. And we wanted to talk about stuff like this. And of course, so you feel like you're reborn and you come back after the trip. How did your life change in terms of moving forward? And did you ever have flashbacks where you regret not going there?
My life changed moving forward by staying awake. Not like you wake up in the morning and, oh, I'm awake now because I was asleep for 8 hours, but like staying awake to the point where I was finding hope and peace in everything that I did. So I would literally search for it. So I remember one time I was at work and we were running around like crazy, and I remember I didn't take a moment, right, for the day, because sometimes I have to like schedule myself to take a moment. I remember I literally took a moment just to like breathe, and I saw this beautiful like red and blue bird. It came to the window, and I remember just staring at it, and I was like, that's my hope for the day.
Wow.
Right?
Seeing the bird.
And I've never seen that type of bird before. It was just beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you felt like God was speaking to you
yes.
at that moment. Have you ever seen the bird since then?
No. I never saw that bird ever again. Never. I was like, that's daddy talking to me. I love him.
You don't care what nobody said.
Right.
You did not imagine that. It happened. And you were there.
Right.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes, God has ways of just getting our attention.
Yeah.
And I pray that he will bring back the bird after this conversation just to confirm that he has a sense of humor and he's laughing with you. Despite all of that, God gave you something to smile about. You're such a beautiful human being.
Thank you.
You just radiate with beautiful love, and I think that your heart, of course, to serve, it comes with that, right? The reason why you are even a nurse. But I want to know, like, did you feel that way while you were taking care of others? Like, you were a nurse, or did you become a nurse after that?
Nursing became special for me even more after that.
Okay, so you were a nurse even during the time when you wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
listen, I would go to
wild.
work. I would go to work at the hospital. And everybody at the hospital called me energy, because I would be there 7 o'clock in the morning with a ton of energy.
Yourself.
And and then they would be like, oh gosh, here comes energy. And let's say like I forgot to get my patient her cranberry juice, because she said, Dana, can you please go get me cranberry juice? And I forgot. And then I go back to her room with medication and no cranberry juice, and now she's mad at me. When I tell you, I couldn't wait for it to be 7:30 for me to clock out so I could go drive my car off a bridge. It was just the little things that would pile up over time, and I could not wait. And I used to be waiting by the clock, and everybody would be like, why are you so like eager to go? I was ready to clock out, and I would fantasize on the highway about like just driving off the cliff, and it was a lot.
Can I ask, were your mom? Or are you a mom?
My mommy died.
Okay.
She died after.
She died after, but did she know before she died?
She did not know.
So that's something that you've kept from her. She died without knowing.
No, she knew the month before she died. But the whole time when I was going through it, she didn't know. Yeah. And then I remember I called her and I said, Mama, I wrote a book. And she's like, you wrote a book? About what? But she thought it was a fictional novel. And I said, Mommy, just give me a chance. I'm going to give you a copy and you're going to see everything. And she's like, okay. So I remember every day she kept calling me. She's like, it didn't come yet. So the mom's like, Mommy, it's coming. So then she finally got it in the mail and she read it. And I remember she called me and she was like, I cannot believe you were hiding all this pain from me. And she's like, I had no idea. And she asked me over and over, she's like, what caused this? And I told her, the divorce, being alone in the military, having to just survive life, survive bullying, friends betraying me. It was just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like everything was just happening back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a lot. And she couldn't believe it.
Wow. So you told her and she passed. Do you mind talking about how she passed? And what was that like for you?
So I can't talk about how she passed because we're still in court for her.
Okay, so that's
But,
kind of it. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to come on the news anyway. So as soon as they say I can talk, I'll be back here to tell you because it ties in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, guys, I just hope that you are reaching out and finding that link. Do you want to repeat it again?
Which one?
Because you have people talking about supporting your drive.
Of course.
Yeah, just repeat it again because we have to keep reminding people how important this is.
Of course.
Show some love to Dana. Come on. Go
Yes.
ahead, Dana. Tell her where to go.
So the contest is called Entrepreneur of Impact. You can find me on Instagram, Think Mental Fashion, just the way that it sounds. You can go to the link in my bio. It'll say vote for me. You can vote there. Or you can go to the actual website. It's called entrepreneurofimpact.org/Dana Cormina. Or you can go on my Facebook and just search DANA-LU and search me and then send me a message and I'll send you the link.
Okay, and we have tonight at 10
p.m. for
10
me to
p.m.
get
to
in
show
first
some
place.
love, to get her into first place. But we know that even if you don't get around to doing it, we know you are a winner. Just by sharing your story with us. And we want to continue just to say, what are some of the things that you are still, working on in yourself? If you're comfortable saying that, when we come back from the break, we'll probably go a little bit deeper. But one thing that you're working on right now, know that you are outside of that space. And of course, you're doing these actions, right? But anything else?
Currently, no.
Okay, so now that you are saying that during the time when your mom found out and you had to go back to that space of work in terms of allowing yourself to be in the space where you're helping people, did you find any of your patients or anything that helped to either confirm that you were making the right decision or triggered you again, or were able to relate or pick up signs that they themselves might be having suicidal ideation?
Yeah, so honestly, people that are like me or was like me, I can spot them head on. They don't even have to talk. Like, I can just spot them, because a lot of the times we fall into this scenario where we think that somebody that is suicidal, that they look it, when really they don't look like it. They're usually the happiest people in the room. They're usually the most energetic, because I was always energetic. I was always the happiest one in the room, and nobody had a clue until I actually put the book out. So I could always be able to spot a patient or a friend if they were suicidal, and I would just easily pull them aside, and it would always turn into like tears and hugs and stuff like that. So I feel like that's like a superpower.
Yeah.
Like, you can spot your own.
Or the ones that overcome. Man,